So in this session, we are going to discuss some important tips for the MR, for the audit. So MR has to face the stage 1 audit and then obviously the stage 2 audit. So I think first thing MR has to do is to prepare a checklist based on the IATF guidelines. It has given certain points that during stage 1 audit, what are the things to be prepared, what are the documents to be prepared. So we already have that checklist, we have taken a review. That is the first thing. So MR in essence has to basically think from three different perspectives. One is from MR's own perspective, that what kind of QMS documentation needs to be prepared addressing the IATF requirements as well as ISO requirements. That is the first thing. Secondly, MR also has to take care of other functions, all other functions. It may be QA, production, engineering, purchase, HR, maintenance, and what else? I have forgotten. Stores, etc. So we are talking about role of MR. MR has got three different perspectives to see. First is MR's own perspective, that from QMS point of view, what are the things to be prepared. So there has to be a separate checklist. Secondly, MR also has to take care of work procedures, documents and records for other functions. So these people may not be aware of the exact requirements, so therefore MR has to interpret all these IATF requirements in their language and explain to them. That is MR's second role. MR's third role is to assist all the people in the implementation, because MR is at a position where at one hand the MR can see the IATF requirements, the auditor requirements, the ISO requirements, overall certification bodies requirements on one hand, and the other hand MR is also able to see what is happening in the shop floor in the various functions. Okay, so MR is sitting on the fence. On the left side of the requirements, on the right side is the actual implementation. So MR acts as a bridge. These are the three things. Then fourth thing which we also don't need to forget is that MR also acts as a bridge between the top management and the IATF requirements, because all said and done, it is the MR who has to interpret these requirements to the top management. As we know that within IATF, there are certain specific roles defined for the top management. The clause number 5, if you read, setting the quality policy, quality objectives, making action plan for quality objectives, management review meetings, all those things. But apart from that, there are certain distinct responsibilities given to the top management which only MR has to define, MR has to inform, MR has to convey, MR has to persuade the top management, because top management comes to know about IATF requirements only through MR. So MR has to play that role also. So in this session, we will not talk about what are the specific roles of the top management. We have got a separate video for that. So here what I am stressing is that MR has got quadruple responsibilities. Let me summarize again. MR has to play 4 different roles. What are these roles? Number 1 is MR's own function, that is quality management system. All the documents, records related to QMS. In short, MR is the only custodian of the quality manual, the Apex manual. During the stage 1 audit, it is the MR to whom the auditor will directly approach. So MR is the first person who will guide the auditor along the path of the requirements within the, or MR is the person who can tell the auditor that this is the way we have implemented the IATF requirements within our organization. Then fifth thing which we have not spoken so far is the customer specific requirements. MR, by virtue of his or her knowledge of the IATF, knows that there are 51 different locations where CSR has been mentioned. So during the interaction with the individual functions, MR has to translate those CSR requirements into IATF requirements and IATF requirements into CSR requirements, and explain to the functional heads, the supervisors, the setters, the operators in different forums. Because see, at every level, the maturity is different. If you are talking to a person from top management, the maturity is different. If you are talking with an operator, the maturity is different. But at both levels, the expectations is that the CSR must be understood properly. So therefore, the MR has to interpret. So there are 5 roles. So again, let us summarize. First role, MR's own department. Second role, other functions. Third role is MR stands on a fence. At one end, all the requirements. At one end is the organization. So MR acts as a bridge. MR also acts as a bridge between the top management and the IATF requirements. Okay, I think this is all in nutshell. And again, we will continue in the next session. Thank you so much.